They thought they could break you. They thought they could crush your spirit, your will to rise. They thought they could leave you lying in the dirt, abandoned and forgotten. But what if I told you that they didn't break you? What if I told you that they only awakened something darker inside you? Something powerful, something unstoppable. What they never saw coming was the force they unleashed when they pushed you to the edge. They thought they were burying you, but in reality they were planting the seeds of your rebirth. Now here you stand, at a crossroads, the wreckage of what you were and what they tried to make you lying all around you. But here's the question. What are you going to do with it? What will you do with the pieces of yourself they tried to destroy? The ashes they left behind? Are you going to let them define you? Are you going to remain a shadow of who you were, a ghost of a person who once believed in more? Or are you going to rise from that ruin? Are you going to take the wreckage, the pieces they shattered, and build something that will not just survive but conquer? This is your moment to either stay buried beneath the weight of their lies, their manipulation, and their cruelty, or to rise and show them that they never knew who they were dealing with. They tried to destroy your will. They tried to silence your voice. They underestimated your resilience, your fire. But now, it's time for you to turn that pain into something more. Pain isn't just something to endure, it's something to harness. It's something to use. You have the power to turn it into something they'll never see coming, something that will leave them shaking in their boots. Let me ask you, how long are you going to allow them to hold the pen? How long are you going to let them write the story of your life? Let them decide what you're worth. Let them define your future. This is your story now. You've been given the power to rewrite it. You've been handed the wreckage of your past, and now you're going to turn it into your crown. Your rise will not be a quiet thing. No, it will be an explosion. It will shake the world, and when they look at you, they will see someone they never expected, someone they thought they had crushed, but who is standing taller than ever before. So what are you going to do with the wreckage they left behind? You've been broken, betrayed, torn apart, but guess what? That's the perfect fuel for what comes next. You are the storm now, and no one can stop you. No one ever could. They thought they ruined you, but you're gonna ruin their lives in the most beautiful, destructive, empowering way. You're gonna rise not just for yourself, but for every single person who doubted you. They tried to tear you down, but what they don't know is that they've just made you the fiercest force the world has ever seen. You've walked through fire. You've been told you were too much. You've been told you were too loud, too intense, too big for this world. They've told you to shrink, to dim, to make yourself smaller so they could feel more comfortable. And when you tried to make yourself fit, when you tried to force yourself into their little boxes, they crushed you. They smothered your light. They told you were weren't enough, too much, too flawed, too broken, too angry, too whatever their words were that rattled inside your head like chains. But the worst part, you started to believe them. You started to believe that there was something wrong with you, that you were too much to handle, too difficult to love, too broken to be fixed. You let their words seep into your veins and poison your thoughts. And the worst part of all, you let them control you. You let them tell you what you could do, what you could dream, how high you could reach. You let them push you into corners, dim your sparkle, make you question if you were even allowed to shine. They've dragged you down piece by piece, shredded you into fragments. But still, you stand. You're exhausted, you're tired of fighting. Every day feels like another battle, another push against a tide that refuses to let you rise. You're carrying the weight of their doubt, their judgment, and worst of all, your own. The voices, they don't stop. The echoes of their cruelty, their insults, their dismissals. They still haunt you, even in your quietest moments. They whisper that you're not enough, that you'll never be enough, that you'll always be the one left behind, the one who never quite made it, the one who tried and failed and was forgotten. But I need you to listen. You're not alone. You've walked through hell, yes, but look around you. You're not the only one. There are millions of people who've been dragged through the same fires. People who have been knocked down, who have been told they were worthless, who have been silenced when they screamed for help. People who have been discarded, cast aside, forgotten by the world, but they still walk. They still rise, and so will you, because this is what they don't get. This is what they fail to understand. They think they can keep you down. They think they can make you believe that you're weak, that you're small, that you don't deserve more. But that's a lie, and deep down, you know it. You feel it, buried under all the rubble, under all the noise. You are not what they told you you were. You are not what they made you believe. You are not your failures, your mistakes, your scars. You are not the things they said you were. You are bigger than that. You are more than that. And somewhere deep inside, you know that. But here's the reality. You've let them control you for too long. You've let their fear become your fear. You've let their doubt seep into your bones, mold your decisions, shape your choices. You've let their voices, their toxic words drown out your own. And for what? To fit in? To be accepted? To be loved by people who didn't even see your worth in the first place? The world tried to steal your fire. They tried to burn you out, drown your spark, and convince you that the world was too big for you to matter, that the light you carry inside you was too bright, too dangerous. They fed you lies. They wanted you to stay small. They wanted you to stay afraid, to stay in line, to stay silent. They wanted you to believe that there was no space for someone like you to thrive. But you know what? They were wrong. Look at you. You're still standing, aren't you? They thought they could bury you. They thought they could crush you under the weight of their expectations, their rejections, their cruelty. But here you are. You're still here, and that's all that matters. You have survived their wars. You have endured their weapons, and while they may have knocked you down, they didn't break you. You have to be capable. You don't need to keep listening to those voices. You don't need to keep living their narrative. The people who told you you weren't enough, they're not your truth. The ones who dismissed you, dismissed your dreams, and dismissed your power, they don't know you, and they never will. Their world is built on lies, and it's time for you to build your own. You don't need their validation anymore. You never did. You are not the quiet, broken thing they tried to make you. You are the storm they feared. You are the phoenix that rises from the ashes, stronger, brighter, and more powerful than they ever imagined. Your fire is untouchable. It can't be extinguished by their doubt, their rejection, or their hate. So, let me remind you, this is your power. You felt small, yes. You felt insignificant. You felt like the world has buried you, tried to erase your worth. But those feelings, they're not yours. They were planted inside you by others, by the people who wanted you to remain in the dark. And now it's time for you to burn all that away. It's time to turn their lies into fuel and use it to set the world on fire. You are not broken. You are not defeated. You are not what they tried to make you. You are everything they never saw coming. And it's time to take back what's yours. The truth is, the world may have tried to steal your fire, but they can't put it out. Not anymore. You've cried out, haven't you? You've screamed into the void, hoping that someone, anyone, would hear you. But the silence was deafening. The emptiness swallowed your voice, and all you could hear in return was the echo of your own desperation. You begged for help, reached out for a hand, and yet you were met with indifference. Cold, hollow indifference. It's as if the world has decided you don't matter, that your pain is just another story in a sea of stories no one cares to hear. And slowly you started to believe it. You started to believe that maybe your cries were too small to be heard, that maybe your pain wasn't worth anyone's time, that maybe you were just meant to suffer alone. And so you fell into this place where the weight of your own sorrow presses on your chest and you can't breathe, where the darkness feels like a permanent companion, suffocating you, mocking your every step. Every night you lie awake, wondering how long it will take before this feeling consumes you entirely. You wonder if it ever gets better. You wonder if it's even worth trying anymore. Because what's the point? What's the point in standing up when everything you've ever fought for has been stripped away? This is where the hardest part is. This is where you stand, teetering on the edge. The easy thing, the thing that feels like it will bring relief, is to stay down, to surrender, to let the darkness swallow you whole, because at least in that emptiness, you don't have to face the fight anymore. You don't have to keep pushing forward only to be knocked back again. It feels easier to just let it all go, to fade into the shadows, to stop hoping, to stop believing. But here's the thing, this is exactly what they want. This is what they've been praying for. They want you to stay down. They want you to believe that the weight of your past, the hurt they caused, the mistakes you made, is too much for you to rise from. They want you to feel so broken that you can never put yourself back together again. They want you to believe that your value is tied to your failures, that your worth is measured by how much you've been hurt, how much you've been pushed down. They want you to believe that you are nothing more than your scars. And if you listen to them, if you let yourself stay there in the darkness, they will win. They will have taken your soul without lifting a finger. But I need you to hear me right now. This is not the end. This is not your last chapter. It may feel like it. It may feel like you've reached rock bottom, like there's no way out. But the truth is, you haven't lost everything. Not yet. The world has taken a lot from you, yes. You've been through the storms, you've lost pieces of yourself in the process, but you have not lost everything. You are not empty, you are not done. Those dark thoughts in your head, the ones that tell you, maybe this is all I am, maybe I'm just meant to be broken, a shadow of what I once was, they're not truths. They are lies, wrapped in the voice of despair. They're the whispers of fear, the remnants of a battle you've already won. Because as much as they want you to believe that you are finished, as much as they want you to drown in that hopelessness, there's a flicker deep inside you that refuses to be extinguished, and it's the only thing that matters now. You are here, aren't you? You're still breathing, still alive, still holding on, no matter how small that grip may feel. The darkness doesn't define you, the brokenness doesn't define you. The weight of the world, as heavy as it is, does not have the power to keep you down unless you let it. This is the moment when you can't afford to quit. I know it feels like the only option. I know it feels like giving up would be easier than fighting one more day. But listen to me. If you stay down, they win. If you stay down, you give them everything they wanted from you. You give them the power to define your life. You give them the power to take the rest of your days and leave you with nothing but ashes. But what if you refuse? What if you decide that they do not get to dictate your fate? What if you realize that the darkest place you've ever been is not your grave, it's your battlefield? What if this moment, this crushing low, is the place where you finally wake up to the truth that you're not here to die? You're here to rise. You're here to prove that no matter how dark it gets, you still have the power to light the way forward. This is where the choice is yours. You can listen to those voices in your head telling you that it's over. Or you can listen to the voice of the one who's still standing, the one who refuses to surrender, the one who is still fighting, even in the deepest of despair. Because you are not alone in this. You are not the only one who's been broken, who's been discarded, who's been told they'd never make it. There are others like you, others who've been where you are, and they've risen. They've found their way back, even when the world told them it was impossible. And you're about to find your way too. You're about to remind the world who you are. But first, you have to decide. This is the turning point. This is where you choose. Stay down and they win, or rise and show them that you were never meant to stay in the dark. Even in the darkest corners, a single ember can ignite a blaze. Even in the pit of despair, the first step toward freedom is always the hardest, but it's the one that counts. I know the night seems endless. I know it feels like you're too far gone, buried under the weight of everything you've lost, everything they've done to you. But I need you to hear me now. This is not your end, this is your beginning. And within you, right now, in the middle of all this pain, there is a flicker. There is a light that has been waiting for this moment, waiting for you to remember that you are more than the ashes they tried to leave you with. The strongest steel is forged in fire. The brightest stars emerge from the deepest night. Think about that for a moment. Imagine how a fire burns, how it destroys everything in its path, only to leave behind something stronger, something that can never be broken again. The heat of the forge, the intensity of the flames, they don't break the steel, they shape it. They refine it. And what emerges from the fire is something unshakable, something that can endure the harshest storms, the hardest blows. You are that steel. You have been through your fire. You have felt the burn, the sting, the heat that almost consumed you. But here you are, standing, breathing, feeling the power in your bones. You are stronger than you've ever been, even if you don't see it yet. You have been through the crucible, and now you're being reshaped, redefined. Your struggle wasn't meant to destroy you. It was meant to make you into something new. Even now, as you stand in the ashes of what they tried to burn, there is a spark within you. It may feel small, but it's there. It's your heart, your spirit, your will. The embers of your power are alive, and if you allow yourself to see them, if you choose to fan them into something bigger, you will ignite a fire that no one can put out. Because here's the truth. They tried to break you. They tried to erase you. They tried to silence your fire, to tell you that you weren't enough. But they didn't realize something crucial. You were never meant to be small. You were never meant to be crushed by their weight. You were not born to be a victim of circumstance. You were born to redefine the game. You see, you've been telling yourself that the story's over, that you've been written out, that you've reached the end of the page, the final chapter. But listen closely. The pen's in your hand, not theirs. You are the author of your own life. They tried to take the pen from you, but they can't. They never could. The only power they had was the power you gave them. And now, you're taking that power back. I know you think it's too late, that the pieces can never fit together again. But listen, this is your time to rewrite the narrative. What you see as broken, what you see as irreparably shattered, is exactly where your transformation begins. The pieces of you that feel lost, discarded, shattered, they are not pieces that define your worth. They are pieces that have yet to be rearranged into something stronger, something greater, something entirely new. Have you ever watched a butterfly emerge from its cocoon? Have you ever seen a flower bloom after a storm? It's a thing of beauty, an act of defiance against all odds. The butterfly hidden in darkness, struggling to break free, becomes something that soars in the light. The flower, beaten by rain, crushed by wind, still finds a way to push through the soil, unfurling its petals into the sun. There is beauty in this process. There is strength. And just like them, you will rise. You are in the dark right now. Yes, it feels suffocating. Yes, it feels endless. But understand this. This darkness is not your cage. It is your cocoon. This is the space where you are being reborn, where your wings are being formed. You have been through the storm, and the soil is rich with the lessons you've learned. The roots you have sunk deep into the earth are what will allow you to rise and grow, unshakable and free. And now, this is your moment to let it happen. You don't need anyone's permission. You don't need anyone's validation. You were never meant to wait for someone to tell you that you're worthy. You don't need their approval to rise, to bloom, to soar. You have always had everything you needed within you. You have always had the strength, the will, the fire to make this transformation happen. It's time for you to see it. I want you to think about the person you were before the world tried to break you. I want you to remember the spark in your eyes, the confidence in your step, the dreams you had. Somewhere along the way, you lost that person. You lost the belief that you could be the person you've always wanted to be, but you never lost everything, not yet. You have that fire still, burning quietly within you. And this is the moment you allow it to burn bright again. There is a reason you're still here. There is a reason you haven't given up, no matter how hard it's been. That reason is your potential. That reason is the power you hold. It has always been inside of you, waiting for the moment when you would finally choose to see it. And now that moment is here. You have the power to change your story. You have the power to rise from the ashes, to spread your wings, to bloom after the storm. Your transformation begins now, right here, right in this moment. The seeds of change are already planted. All you have to do is water them with your belief. Water them with the faith that you can rise. Water them with the certainty that you are not defined by the darkness you've walked through, but by the strength you found in it. You are no longer the person they tried to break. You are no longer the person who believes they are small or broken or unworthy. You are the one who will soar, who will rise, who will bloom into something so much more than you've ever allowed yourself to imagine. It's time to embrace that. It's time to let the seeds of change take root and grow. This is your rebirth. This is your time. The light is waiting for you. Will you walk toward it? They thought they could break you, didn't they? They thought they could strip you of your power, your will, your fire. They thought that by tearing you down, they would keep you in chains, shackled by their lies, their rejection, their cruelty. But here you are, standing on the edge of something greater than you've ever known. And I want you to hear me loud and clear. They were wrong. They underestimated you. They never saw the strength you've been carrying inside you, buried under the weight of their wounds, ready to explode at the perfect moment. They broke you? Fine. Now you're going to break them. Not with revenge, not with petty retaliation, but with the kind of power they never saw coming, with the force of your resilience, your heart, your will, with the strength you've always had, the strength that has been quietly growing in you like a storm building on the horizon, ready to tear apart everything in its path. You were never the victim in this story. You were always the warrior, the one who would rise, who would fight, who would turn every moment of pain into a weapon of your own making. I know you've been down. I know you felt small, insignificant, like you've been losing ground with every step, but I need you to understand something right now. You were born for this fight, this moment, the pain, the betrayal, the hurt. It wasn't meant to defeat you. It was meant to sharpen you, to forge you into the unbreakable force you are destined to become. You were never meant to bend. You were meant to stand tall. And now you're realizing that you were made for this battle. You were made to rise, stronger, sharper, unbreakable. And it's time for you to realize something. Pain is not your enemy. Pain is the fire that forges warriors. Pain is the hammer that shapes the blade. Pain is the crucible that burns away what is weak, what is unnecessary, until only what is strong and pure remains. Pain doesn't destroy you, it empowers you. It hardens you. It gives you the strength to push past limits you never thought you could surpass. Every rejection, every betrayal, every heartbreak, they were building blocks. They were the lessons that you had to learn in order to rise, and you learned them. Now you are the one in control. You've spent too much time looking for validation, too much time waiting for someone else to give you the approval, the love, the support you thought you needed to be whole. But here's the truth. You've been trying to fill the holes with things that could never truly satisfy you, with promises from people who never had the courage to fight for you, with attention from people who didn't see your worth, with external validation from a world that only values you for how well you fit into their mold. But you are more than that. You are the one who gets to decide your worth. You don't need anyone's approval. You don't need anyone's acceptance. You've always had everything you need inside you. I know it's hard to accept that. I know it feels like the validation from others would fill that emptiness. I know it feels like if someone else just believed in you, you could finally believe in yourself. But the truth is, you've been waiting for someone to save you when you've been the one who's always had the power to save yourself. You've been waiting for someone to come and light your fire when you've always had the spark within you. The world doesn't get to decide your value. You do. And when you realize that, when you embrace the truth that you are the architect of your own destiny, that's when everything changes. The world will try to make you crumble. It will throw everything it has at you, every insult, every setback, every moment of doubt. It will try to break you, to remind you that you're not enough, that you don't matter. But I'm here to tell you, let them try. Let them watch as you stand taller than they ever imagined. Let them watch as you rise from the ashes they tried to bury you under. Let them watch as you become the person they never thought you could be, because you will not be broken. You will not be defeated. You will stand no matter how hard they push, no matter how much they try to drag you down. You are not what they say you are. You are everything you've ever dreamed of becoming. You've been through hell. You've been knocked down, kicked around, beaten up by life, and yes, it hurt. It hurt in ways that words can't even describe. But guess what? You're still here. You're still standing. And that's where your power comes from. Not from the things you've lost, not from the battles you've lost, but from the fact that you have never given up. You have never quit. You have always, even when you felt like you couldn't, found the strength to keep going. That's what makes you a warrior. Now, it's time to put that strength to work. It's time to stop hiding, stop shrinking, stop letting the world dictate who you are. You've been through enough. You've earned your stripes. You've earned the right to rise. And now, you're going to take that power and use it. Not just to survive, but to conquer. You're going to take every ounce of pain, every ounce of rejection, every ounce of hurt, and you're going to turn it into fuel for your fire. You're going to use it to build something that will never be destroyed, something unshakable, something unstoppable. So stop playing small, stop hiding, stop apologizing for taking up space. You are here for a reason. You are here because you have a purpose, because you are meant for greatness. And no matter how many times the world tries to tell you that you're not enough, no matter how many times it tries to knock you down, you will rise. You will rise higher, stronger, fiercer than ever before. The world does not define you. You define you. You are not broken. You are being forged. And nothing, no one can stop you. You've been letting them control you for far too long. You've allowed them to dictate your value, your story, your every move. And let me ask you this, how's that been working for you? Every moment you've spent believing their lies, every second you've given up your power, every inch of space you've allowed them to occupy in your mind has only kept you from the truth that they never had the power to destroy you. They may have hurt you, they may have made you feel small, but they never had the power to ruin your life. You handed them that power, and now that ends. Because here's the revelation. The past is gone. What they did, what they took, what they tried to break, it's in the past. It's done. You don't need to carry their mess any longer. You don't need to be bound by their narrative. They tried to make you believe that their actions were your identity. They wanted you to feel small, to feel powerless, to feel like you had no control. But now you know the truth. They thought they could ruin you, but you're about to ruin them. Not through hate, not through vengeance, but through the greatest weapon you've ever had, your resilience, your unshakable resolve. Let me make it clear. This isn't about them anymore. This isn't about the people who tried to break you, the circumstances that tried to bury you, the voices that tried to silence you. This is about you. This is about the power you've been ignoring, the strength you've been hiding from, the force that's been waiting in the shadows, waiting for this very moment to rise. You are no longer the victim. You are no longer the one who has to wait for permission to exist. You are the storm. I know, it feels like a distant dream, doesn't it? Like the power to turn everything around is something out of reach, but it's not. It's right here. It's in your hands. They ruined your life? Fine, that's their past. But what you're about to do, what you're about to build, is your future. You hold the pen. You hold the power. You are the storm, not the victim of it. You have the ability to rewrite your story. You have the power to change everything, to take the wreckage they left behind and use it as the foundation of something greater than anything they could ever imagine. This is the turning point. This is where you stop being the person who lets life happen to them and start being the person who decides what happens next. You've been walking through life with their words, their lies, their rejection echoing in your head. But you don't need to listen to that anymore. You are the one in control now. You are the one who decides who you are. You are the one who decides your worth. You are the one who decides where your story goes from here. I want you to hear me when I say this. Your life doesn't belong to them anymore. They don't get to define you. They don't get to control your happiness, your success, your destiny. You are the architect of your future. You are the one who decides what you will build, what you will become, what you will rise to. And I promise you this, you will rise, but it's not going to be easy. It's not going to be a simple, straight path. There will be days where the doubts creep back in, where the pain feels like it's too much to bear. There will be moments where it feels like you're back at square one, where the voices of the past try to drag you down. But here's the thing, they are no longer the ones in control. You are. And every time you rise, every time you decide that you are more than their mistakes, more than their words, more than the hurt they caused, you reclaim another piece of your power. Repetition is key, so listen closely. You hold the pen. You hold the power. You are the storm, not the victim of it. This is not about revenge. This is not about making them pay for what they did to you. This is about you taking back your life. This is about you deciding that you will no longer be defined by their actions. You will no longer be the person they tried to destroy. You will be the one who rises from the ashes they left behind. There will always be battles, there will always be storms, but now you understand something they never did. You are not the victim of the storm, you are the storm. And there is nothing that can stop you once you realize that. Once you realize that you have the power to change your circumstances, to rise above the things that once held you down, there is no limit to what you can achieve. There is no obstacle too big, no challenge too great, no setback too hard. Because you are in control now. You are the one who holds the power. The battle isn't with them anymore. The battle is with the voice inside your head that tells you you're not strong enough. The battle is with the doubts that try to creep in when you're on the edge of something great. The battle is with the fear that tells you to play it safe, to stay small. But you know better now. You know that you are bigger than your fears, stronger than your doubts, more powerful than anything that's ever tried to hold you down. So here's the truth. You are not who they said you were. You are not the person they tried to break. You are not the victim of their cruelty. You are the one who decides who you are. You are the one who decides how your story ends, and I promise you, it's not gonna end in defeat. It's gonna end in victory. You're in control now. This is your story. You hold the pen. And what happens next is entirely up to you. The storm is yours to command, so rise. Rise higher than they ever thought you could. Because when you do, that's when the real power begins. You remember who you were, don't you? You remember that person, the one who walked through life carrying a weight that wasn't even theirs. That person who hid in the shadows, afraid to step into the light because they didn't believe they deserved to be seen. That person who let the world dictate their worth, who believed every lie, every rejection, every failure, and wore them like chains. You were once a shadow, a ghost of the person you could be, hiding from the truth that was always within you. But that's who you were, not who you are. Not anymore. Look at yourself now. See the strength in your eyes, the fire that burns where there was once doubt. See the power in your heart, the resilience in your soul, the unstoppable force that has been awakened within you. You are no longer the one who bends in the face of adversity. You are the one who stands tall, unyielding, unbreakable. You are a force of nature, and nothing, not a single thing, can ever hold you down again. The version of you that once lived in fear, in pain, in regret, that person is gone, and in their place is someone greater. Someone more powerful, someone who is ready to take on the world and win. Do you feel it? That power coursing through your veins, rising with every breath you take, growing stronger with every step you make. That is the power of your transformation. That is the power of your potential unleashed. The future version of you, the one you once thought was a dream, an impossibility, is already here. You don't have to wait for it to arrive. You are already becoming it. You are becoming the person who walks into any room with unshakable confidence, who knows their worth and won't apologize for it. You are becoming the person who doesn't shrink in the face of challenges, but rises to meet them, stronger, more determined, and more capable than ever before. You are becoming the person who doesn't just survive, but thrives. You are becoming unstoppable. You see, your potential has always been limitless. It was never bound by your past, never confined by your scars, never held back by the mistakes you've made or the things that have been done to you. Those things are just part of the story. They are not the story. You are not defined by your past. You are not your scars, your failures, your mistakes. You are what you choose to become, And right now, you are choosing to become someone extraordinary. Someone who refuses to be held back. Someone who refuses to settle for anything less than greatness. So take a moment, look at the person you've become, and then look forward. Look at the person you are becoming, the unstoppable version of yourself that is ready to conquer everything. That person doesn't apologize for being powerful. That person doesn't ask for permission to succeed. That person knows their worth and makes no apologies for it. That person moves through life with purpose, with conviction, and with a heart that cannot be broken. That's who you are now, and nothing, no one can stop you. You've gone from being the broken one, the one who was carried by doubt and fear, to being invincible. You are no longer just surviving, you are thriving. You are no longer someone who is defeated by the world's struggles. You are the one who conquers them. Every setback, every rejection, every obstacle is nothing more than a stepping stone to the greatness you've always had within you. And you know what? The world doesn't even see you coming. They don't know what's about to hit them. Because you've evolved, you've transformed into something they could never have imagined. This is your story now. No longer will you let anyone else write it. No longer will you let anyone else define you. You are the author of your own destiny. You hold the pen, you choose your path. And every day, every step you take, you write the story of your rise. The truth is, the world didn't break you. It didn't destroy you. It forged you. It took the broken pieces, the pain, the struggles, and it shaped you into something stronger, something more powerful than you ever thought possible. You may have felt lost at one time, but now you know that the road you walked wasn't one of destruction. It was one of transformation. And you've come out on the other side more than you ever were before. You are unstoppable. And I need you to remember this every single day. You are not the person you were. You are the person you are becoming, the one who stands tall, unafraid, unbreakable. The world will try to push you down. It will try to make you doubt yourself, make you question your worth, make you feel small. But now you know better. You know that you are bigger than your fears, you are stronger than your doubts, and you are more powerful than anything that has ever tried to hold you back. So look ahead and see the unstoppable version of yourself standing there. See the version of you who is thriving, confident, and powerful. See the version of you who is unshakable, who can take on the world and win. That's who you are now, and no one, nothing can ever take that from you again. You are invincible, and you are just getting started. Now that you know the truth, what are you going to do with it? Are you going to sit there, waiting for someone to hand you your destiny, waiting for someone to give you permission to rise? Or are you going to stand up, take control, and claim what's always been yours? The power you've been hiding from, the strength you've been denying yourself, it's all right here. It's all right in front of you. And now that you know, you have a choice. You can either keep waiting for life to give you a break, or you can take what's rightfully yours. Don't fool yourself. The world isn't going to hand you your success. They're not going to hand you your power. You have to take it. You have to show up and demand it. You have to step into your new identity with everything you've got. Every action you take from here on out must be a step toward the life you know you deserve. And each action will make you stronger, will solidify this new version of yourself that cannot be shaken, cannot be ignored. So let's break it down. What's your next move? What's the first thing you're going to do now that you've fully embraced your power? First, show up. For yourself. Not for anyone else, not for anyone's approval or validation. For you. When you look in the mirror, look at the person who survived, who's overcome, who's reclaimed their soul. You don't need to ask permission from anyone. Take one action today, however small, that brings you closer to the life you want. That's how it starts. A single step, and then another, and then another. Before you know it, the momentum will carry you and there will be no stopping you. Next, believe in your worth. This isn't a one-time realization, it's a daily practice. You have to remind yourself every single day that you are enough, that you are deserving, that no one gets to tell you who you are anymore. You know who you are now. You know what you're capable of, and the world can't take that from you. So every day, remind yourself of your power, of your potential, of the force you've become. Let this new truth fill every part of you. Let it fuel every action you take, every word you speak, every decision you make. Your confidence isn't negotiable anymore. It's who you are. Third, don't be afraid to walk alone. Not everyone will understand your transformation. Not everyone will celebrate your rise, but that's okay. You weren't born to please everyone. You weren't born to live up to anyone's expectations. You were born to be who you are. Bold, powerful, unafraid. If the world doesn't understand your journey, if they can't see the fire in your eyes, let them. Let them sit in silence while you build the empire they never thought possible. You will find your tribe. You will attract the people who see your worth, who support your growth, who will help you rise even higher. But if they don't see it, that's their problem, not yours. Finally, take ownership of your future. From now on, you stop waiting for things to fall into place. You stop letting life dictate your pace. You're in charge now. This is your story, your journey, your fight. And the world, they won't see you coming. They won't know what hit them. They'll watch you rise, watch you destroy every expectation, every limit they placed on you. You're not just going to take what's yours. You're going to reshape everything. Every barrier, every challenge, every person who ever doubted you will be swept aside as you build the life you deserve. And you know what's waiting for you? Everything. The life you've dreamed of, the success you've worked for, the peace you thought was impossible. All of it is yours for the taking, but it starts now, right now. So what are you going to do with this power? What are you going to do with this truth? Are you going to sit back and let them win? Or are you going to claim the life that was always meant for you? Because this is your moment, and there is no more waiting. The moment you've been waiting for, the moment you've been building toward is now. You were never broken. You were never weak. You were just waiting for the moment to rise. And now, that moment is here. You are no longer the victim. You are the victor. You are the one who will walk through hell and come out with fire in your eyes. You're not the person they tried to break. You're the person they never saw coming. The person who will leave them in the dust, who will conquer every battle, who will rise higher than they ever thought possible. So go. Go ruin their world. Not with hate, not with revenge, but with the power of your transformation. Go show them who you've become. And when they look at you, they'll see someone they underestimate, someone they could never break, someone who walked through hell and came out with fire in their eyes. This is your time. Make it count.